Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shemal, Shai Bashim Makakaba, Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. I'm going to title this video, The Latter End is Worse with Them Than the Beginning. This is from 2 Peter 2, verse 20. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Wa, Yahweh Shai, the Savior, the Messiah, or Yahweh Shai Mashiach, they are again entangled therein, and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. Let me pull out this word, entangled. And in other words, if you came into this truth, the knowledge of the truth, that you're an Israelite, that you went to the school at One West or recently joined some of these camps, whether it be GMS or any other camp that's teaching you the true truth, and for any reason you fall out and you go back into the world, you just become a regular Joe. It doesn't just end like that. What you're going to do is, and there's many, I would say thousands of men and women, more so men, going back to the 80s, the 90s, before the 80s, the 70s, during the time of Abba, that came into this truth, that followed Abba Bivens. And when Bivens had passed, the leadership was Marshal Arian Yaikwab, and the people that came up with them, they were not going to follow Marshal Arian Yaikwab because they were following Abba. So they looked at them like, we're peers. I'm not going to follow you. So they all went back into the world. Bring it up to the 80s. You had a lot of people come in the mid 80s to late 80s, going into the 90s. You had thousands come in. And this was before YouTube. We had some cable shows here and there, but you had a lot of people come in before YouTube. And then YouTube, you had the greatest amount of individuals coming to this truth through the YouTube, through the web, through the World Wide Web. So you had thousands come into this thing, and through the years, thousands have left. I mean, how many men, for the most part, and women, but mainly men, how many of you men that came into this truth, that learned this truth? It says, for if after they have escaped the pollution of the world, meaning you were part of this world, you came out of the world when you learned that you were an Israelite and everything that goes with it. Through the knowledge is knowing that you're an Israelite, knowing who Esau is, knowing that this is Babylon the Great, knowing about the 12 tribes, knowing about, you start to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. You start to believe that our Lord, our Savior is coming back. You start to believe and teach that these other nations are going into captivity. You also begin to understand that Esau is the worst among the heathen, and they're going to get the worst of the captivity. So these are just some of the things. The Passover. How many of you that left and went back into the world, how many of you are keeping the Passover? not many, if any. So you just became an average Joe. You just went back into the world and you just became a Negro. Some of you know that you're Israel. Some of you watch the videos. I won't be surprised if some of you come on here talking shit. It says, through, it says, for if after they have escaped the pollution of the world or this world through the knowledge of, and some of you denied the knowledge. You threw the knowledge away. You left your name as a curse upon the chosen of the Most High. A lot of you don't even identify. A lot of you became Kemetic. A lot of you went back into being a Christian. Whatever you did in the past before you came to the truth, the majority of you, I would say, went back into that old lifestyle. Whatever you did, maybe you was a Mo. You went back to being a Mo. Maybe you went back to the church. Maybe you went back to being a Baptist. Some of you were Catholics. Some of you went back to being Catholics. That's what the 22nd verse is all about. And the Most High took this away from you pursuant to Matthew 13. You can start about the 11, 12 verse around there. I'm not going to go to it. In other words, you had it and it was taken away, even that you had. So you learned that this place, the US, America, is Babylon, and that's going to be utterly burnt with fire. Well, you should know that you turn your back when you don't do this work no more, when you ain't out there on the highways and the byways, when you're not in the brotherhood, and you just go back to being who you are. You know you were Israelite. You remember going to the school. You remember joining the camp. You remember holding posts. You remember opening up the scriptures and reading or even speaking. Some of you became teachers. This is not the best time to be someone that turned their back on the plow. This is not the best time because all hell is going to break loose on you. And every last one of you, before you get hit with a missile, see the spirit, the Most High took the spirit from you, the mindset from you to say, well, let me move to another country because I know that this place is going to be utterly burnt with fire. No, you're going to remain here and tell yourself that, no, that's not going to happen. It's all bullshit. I'm glad I came out of that coat. The Most High got you here to do two things. To take that charagma, which the World Economic Forum just came out and said it. They said, look, we're going to set up the CBDC and everybody's going to have to get a microchip put in them to be able to deal with the CBDC, which is central bank digital currency. In the beginning, it's not going to work that way. In the beginning, you'll have a certain credit card, then the credit card will go in your, and a lot of people have these QR codes in their smartphones. And there was one individual, right? It was a sister. There was a Jake at a store. I believe it was BJ's. This was years ago. This had to be 2017, 2016, maybe. And maybe 2017. But we're talking, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. He had paid for something with a smartphone. He had used a smartphone and scanned it. So the woman that was cashing out, she was there. There was a dude there, and she said, "Oh, you got the set up in your phone and everything." So I was right there, and I had said, you know what that's going to lead to? The QR code in your, I think I said app. I didn't say QR code. Now we understand what the QR code is. I said, you know what that's going to eventually lead to? And he said, no, I don't know. And I said, there's going to be a chip that's going to be put in you. And it went from one ear out the other. was like it went totally over his head. But the chick, and I believe she was Benjamin. She had a Benjaminite accent. She was a Benjaminite. She said, "Yep, that's what's going to happen. You are going to get a chip. Eventually, the whole world's going to get a chip." So he's looking at us like we got like I have three heads on me and she has three heads on her. It totally went over this guy's head. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, he don't know. Most I haven't opened up his head, his mind, his spirit to see the truth. If he wanted to let, he'll see it. If not, he's not going to see it. Now the sister, she knows that it's going to lead down to the microchip, the MOTB. And this is before, when this man made his purchase with his smartphone, this is before they even mentioned a CBDC. This was some years before they just started mentioning the CBDC, what, a year and a half? Now they're going to push it forward. So now that sister, I don't know what she's going to do. If she's part of the elect, like the elect lady, she'll probably meet a brother that's in the truth and get with that brother if she's not with a particular brother right now, or she's going to take it knowing that she's not supposed to take it. So I don't know. She left the job, whatever this is, we're talking, 5-6 years ago. So I remembered it like it was yesterday. And I remember telling him, I said, you know what that's going to lead to? That's going to lead to you getting that technology into your hand, into your right hand. And it went right directly over his head. So now a lot of y'all done left that heard GMS constantly make videos concerning the MOTB. A lot of y'all left, and a lot of y'all gonna wind up taking it because you're gonna know not to take it, but you're gonna take it anyway because you gotta eat and your kids gotta eat. And the scripture said, you're not gonna be able to work, you're not gonna be able to buy and sell. Your faith is gonna have to kick in. Well, guess what? If you back in the world, you ain't got no faith. So you're going to remember the GMS videos. You may even ask some questions. When they actually put this CBDC out, the central bank digital currency, people are going to ask a lot of questions. They're asking questions now, but they're going to ask a lot of questions. Is this the MOTB? And we've been said it, no, it's not the MOTB. Well, can we use the CBDC? Can we use the Fed now? Yes, you can. We will be forced to use it because they're going to they're going to make the paper dollar obsolete. Look that word up, obsolete. So you would be using it up until the point to when they tell you, oh, now you got to get a chip and you got to put it in your right hand in order to access your QR code to buy and sell. That's why it says what it says in Revelation 13, 16, and 17. If you don't have this in your hand, you're not going to be able to buy and sell. We're not dealing with the smartphones no more. We're not dealing with credit cards that you can pull out of your wallet. We're not dealing with paper dollars. The paper dollar will be obsolete. The credit card will be obsolete. You would still have the smartphone, but to buy and sell with the smartphone with the QR code in it, you won't be able to use it. And there's going to be a deadline, just like you had with the charagma, the ragamuffin, whatever you want to call it, the C. You know what I'm talking about, right? And you notice when we spoke about that, they immediately took down your site because they don't want the truth to come out. We can't even say, well, now we got to say MOTB. We used to be able to say it out straight out. Mark of is the C-HIP. They took down videos on that. Why? Because they got that memo. So you ones that have went back into the world, that fell out. You're not doing his work no more. You turn your back on the Lord. You turn your back on the plow. Some of you still acknowledge that you're Israelites, but you're not doing the work no more. Even the ones of you that know that you're Israelites and accept the fact that you're Israelites and that you once was out there on the highways and the byways, holding posts, reading, teaching, you're going to take the chip any damn way. You're going to take it anyway. So all these guys like Yumya and Ramayla, all these different dudes, there's so many guys that we knew that came in that were diligent men that went back into the world. And if they still, it's best that they die now. If they drop dead of a heart attack, if they stroke out, if they get struck by lightning, if they get hit by a truck, if somebody blow their fucking head off, you're good. You're good. Because you be in the spiritual realm. You wouldn't have to take the charagma. But if you're still living, you're going to take the charagma. And there is going to be a major shakeup among the Israelites. And there's going to be a super major shakeup with groups like the IUIC because they've been window shopping. Well, you need to stop window shopping and open up the door and come in and actually shop. And anybody that's teaching, like you, me and myself and other men of like mind of GMS, we've been going back and forth with IUIC, the leadership at IUIC, concerning the charagma. Well, when it comes, and it's damn near here. The World Economic Forum made a statement. They just made a statement a couple of days ago. The WEF, the World Economic Forum, says you're going to get this. We're going to implement the CBDC, and you are eventually going to have to get a chip in order to use it, in order to buy and sell. So the ones of you that fell off, hey, too bad. I'll tell you what you can do. Don't accept it and get locked up or just starve to death, because the Most High is not going to help you. Read Isaiah 65:12. Because you thought this was a joke. You didn't take this thing serious, man. The scriptures speak about you making a vow and not paying your vow. And not paying your vow. Give me a second here. And a lot of you guys that came into this thing, you know what I noticed too? Back at One West, you had a lot of cliques. You know, when General Netanyahu left with Mashar, with certain other guys that they all went back into the world. The only one that is still teaching that you're Israelite and all the highways, the rest of those guys that left with him and got to King Mashar's ear, all them guys fell out. But that was a clique that did it because they wasn't telling nobody else. They had a clique. They had little meetings, little side meetings. They didn't tell nobody else. They didn't tell me about it. I mean, I knew about it. You know what I'm saying? I knew about it. But if they had their power, they wouldn't want me to be in it because they wanted their own thing. They didn't want to be up under leadership because I was over them. They didn't want to be up under leadership. They wanted to be their own leaders, but they needed a ideologue, which was King Mashar, in order to get these people to follow them. Because had they left on their own, they might have got like 12 people with them, 13 people, and that's it. And they would have became Reservoir Dogs. So they had to get a major guy, which is King Mashar. They had to get to his ear. So when he left, people that left with them didn't follow them. They followed Mashar because he was the head man. He was the head man in charge. And then what they wound up doing in the councils, they told Mo, look, oh, you can stay home, Mo. You don't got to come to this meeting. You don't got to come to that class. They pretty much kind of made him retire. When they had councils, Mo, you don't got to be at the council. Hey, hey, all these men, I'm talking about Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ricard, Apostle Ramlab, the current bishops of the GMS, they were all there, man. They were all there. If there was a trial and General Nathaniel Alagar was in that trial, he doesn't have any witnesses. All those guys went back into the world. Some of them died. One of them, a brother that I was cool with, he had died after YouTube. He was on I don't think he was on YouTube, but he died in the YouTube era. He stroked out, and this guy was in the martial arts. He was in he was in the eating right, and I was cool with the brother, but he was a part of that. He was a part of that clique. But me and him was cool. Brother was cool brother, cool in the fan. Every time I saw the brother, I was happy to see him, and we always used to speak. But what happened was he had stroked out and just dropped dead, man. Just dropped dead. A man that was in shape. He was deep into the martial arts. He was in the eating right, and the brother stroke out. You know. But the rest of them guys, they became reservoir dogs, and they all went their separate ways, and they all fell out in the world. Or some of them might have a website. One of them I ran into, Yasha. He said he has. I said, what you doing as far as the truth? He said, I got a website. He didn't tell me that he was on the highways and the byways. He didn't tell me that was, and this was YouTube. This was not, I don't know, 4 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I noticed him right away. He noticed me. I pretty much spoke to him. He didn't really speak. He kind of responded to what I said, and then it was a shop, a restaurant, and he was so. I take it that his spirit was so messed up, he had to leave. He said, y'all got that, y'all. Then he just kind of left. He said, I'm out of here. Like the spirit kind of, he got spooked when he saw me. And I was cool. I said, hey, Shalom, what's up, brother? You know what I'm saying? I was talking about Nate, but you could see he was spooked. Maybe I'm picking up wrong vibes, okay? He can tell you the truth. But he knows he still knows he's an Israelite. He has a website, but he's not hardcore like the prophet's supposed to be. So all those guys, they don't keep in contact. Josh and Bishop Nate, and, Bishop Nate had to start all over. But anyway, let me do this. I'm giving you some more history here. All right, where am I gonna bear me for a minute. Let this come up. Let me just put in vow. I believe it's in Ecclesiastes 5. I'm gonna put in vow. I mean, you can do a lesson on vow, the importance of a vow. It's in there 40 times. And Jacob vowed a vow saying, if the Most High will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and remnant to put on. I got to read the rest of this. So Yaquab made a vow with the Most High. So that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my power. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be the Most High's house. Bethel, that's the word Most High, God's house is Bethel, Bayath Allah. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give the 10th unto thee. So that's a vow right there. So everybody coming to the truth that holds both, all of you made a vow. When you turn your back and go back in the world, guess what? You broke the vow with the Most High. So now you got to pay. Now I'm going to have to cut some. If you know what I'm talking about, you good. Now I'm going to have to cut something. Okay, I was right. I knew I was right. I just wanted to make sure. Ecclesiastes 5 and 4. So let me, okay, I'll go. I don't got to read the rest, the first verse. When thou vowest a vow unto the Most High, defer not to pay it. Meaning, if you make a vow to the Lord, you better pay it. For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. If you say you're going to stay with this truth, tell you're going to do it to the end no matter what, that's paying your vow to the end. It said, better is it that thou shouldest not vow, you should have never came in the truth, than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. In other words, don't sign a check that you can't cash out on. In other words, you sign a check with somebody. I'm gonna give you this check because I owe you the money, and you know that there's no money to cover that check, right? You can't back up that. There's nothing backing up that, like money. Real money is backed up by gold. When somebody gives you a check is backed up by what? If somebody gives you $1,000, $1,000 check, you better have at least $1,000 in that account. If you don't, the check is going to bounce. Then that person may come after you. He may send you to court. He may kill you. He may do this. And then you lost a friend. So you lost a friend with the Most High. So don't be cold on Yahweh Shem Yahushai when in Jacob's trouble. It says, suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin, neither say thou before the angel, because the angel is talking about the death angel, that it was an error. Wherefore should the Most High be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thine hands? The work of thy hands is anything that you did, and it's talking about you, because you got to pay with your life. The only one that can get out of the vow is a woman. Her father says, nope, I don't honor the vow, or the husband says, nope, I don't honor the vow. The Most High will honor the husband or the father. Because why? The woman is a lesser to the man. A woman is only a woman if she has a man behind her or in front of her. Either it's the father or the husband. That's what's meant by taking away my reproach. 7 women shall take to themselves one man. For in the multitude of dreams and many words, there are also diverse vanities, but fear thou the Most High. So you got a lot of guys with dreams, a lot of they selling you a pipe dream, doing a lot. You can watch them guys, brother. Oh, Wi-Fi. They're going to do a video, and they already did it back in January, about they're going to debunk what we're saying about the mark of the beast. So everybody the most important people from GMS was there. They were all on the comment board, you know. Then they were cutting us off on the comment board. We just asking questions. It was a 5-hour class, 5-hour and change class. They did not get to the subject until about after 4 hours in, because they were hoping we're gonna listen for about 2 hours. They ain't saying nothing. They ain't gonna say nothing. So we go off. So we stayed. So they were doing all that fast talking, right? It said, for in the multitude of dreams and many words, in 5 hours, you can speak a lot of words. You can speak many words. There are also diverse vanities, but fear thou the Most High. For in the multitude of dreams and many words, there are also diverse vanities. There's a lot of wicked. Let's look at the word vanity. So now you're playing with your life. Hey, you get a loan from the mob, right? I knew this one Benjamite dude had a restaurant. My cousin knew him as well, and he took a loan from the mob. The La Nosa La Nosa Costra, meaning our thing gang, which is the Italian mob. He didn't pay it. You know what they did? They made him disappear. Because I remember my cousin said, what happened to this guy? Oh, he took a loan from the mob. He didn't pay it in time, and they deleted him. So if man does that, they didn't want to hear his pleading. They said, man, you were supposed to pay the thing. You promised you would pay it. You didn't pay it. We're going to delete your ass. And he got deleted. That restaurant's not there no more. Now, if man does that, what do you think the king of the universe is going to do to you? He's going to really fuck you up. he gonna fuck your ass up so bad. That chick in Training Day at the end, when they said take him to the tub, and the chick said they really fucked him up, eh? Well, guess what? She gonna come after the smoke is clear. She gonna come out and say they really fucked America up, eh? You gonna get fucked up. You gonna get fucked up because you're gonna take that chip, and the Most High is gonna deal with you. You the first thing that you did was you made a vow to come into this truth. You turned your back on the plow. You went back into the world, and now the Most High is going to open you up to take that chip so he can destroy you. And a lot of you are going to live to see that day because the Most High said, no matter what happens to this dude, if somebody shoots at him, the gun's going to get jammed or the bullet's going to miss. Like Andrew Jackson, the president, the Indian killer. There was a couple of attempts of his life of him getting shot, and the bullet would jam. There were stories of George Washington that Gad was shooting arrows at George Washington, and they would miss because the Most High had George Washington to be there for a certain reason. Hannibal Barca of the Carthaginian Empire, which he was an Israelite, he couldn't defeat the Romans. Why? Because the Most High set up the Romans. And guess what? Hannibal's army was more powerful than the Roman army because the Romans tried to take down the Carthaginian Empire and they would always lose. So they gave up on the Carthaginian Empire. So it was Hannibal's father was the one that was a warrior that instilled it in his son. So his son, Hannibal, became a greater warrior than him. And he said, we're going over there, we're going to take the Romans down. Anytime the Romans came to fight with the legions, they would put to flight. So what happened? He lost a lot of men coming over the Alps mountain. So why did that ultimately happen? Because the Most High set up the Roman Empire to have a certain rule. That's in Job. Was that Job 14:5, I believe it is. Certain time. I'm not going to go to it. Every kingdom had a certain time of rulership. The Egyptians had a certain time of rulership. The Babylonians were 70 years. They didn't even make 70 years. I believe it was 67 years. So you're gonna be in situations where you're gonna be in death-defying situations, and you're gonna come up out of it because the Most High is preserving you, so you can go ahead and take that charagma, and then the Most High can seal the deal and take you out and make you eat one of the missiles, or make you starve to death, or make you eat your children because you didn't take the Most High seriously. And I wouldn't be surprised if guys in GMS today, when the chip comes, going to wind up taking it and ain't going to tell us. They'll be coming to camp, not telling you they got the chip in them, and I mean, did anybody take the chip? Nah, we ain't take the chip. We ain't took the chip. If you took the chip and then you confess, I took the chip, what do I do now? I said, just eat a missile. That's all you can do. So you dudes that hadn't taken this truth Seriously, you dudes that went back in the world, you think you dudes thinking that everything is hunky dory, you're gonna die, but you're gonna take the chip first. If you don't die before taking the chip. So let me look up the word vanities. A guy with many words, these guys speaking for 5 or 6 hours. There's a lot of there's a lot of vanity and wickedness um, in that. So all it says is breath, vapor, and then it says vanity. Vanity means wickedness. Like they say, this guy's blowing hot air. He's doing a lot of talking. The act to act empty, become vain, which is wickedness. Be vain, to become vain, to be utterly vain, with cognate act, to cause to become vain, to fill with vain hopes. So you got to watch a guy, because our videos, it's rare that we do a super long video. The spirit might be on you, but we do a lot of quick videos. It might be a 50 minutes, an hour, sometimes an hour and change. They ain't gonna see us do no 5-hour video. And when you watch these videos, there's a lot of good. What they give you, like General Nathaniel got, he gives you a righteous wicked sandwich. In other words, he'll give you the sandwich, and the bread is righteous, but the meat there's wickedness in that meat. So you eating it, oh, this sandwich is good, not knowing that you're eating wickedness. And he was known as a dreamer. He had a dream about everything. I had a dream about this. I had a dream about you, brother. I had a dream. One of the dreams that he had was that he had a dream that the oil was taken away from him, because we were going into that a lot. Matthew chapter 25 about the oil. We used to go into that a lot. He said he had a dream that the oil was taken away from him, but at the end of the dream, the oil will restore it back to him. Now, if the dream comes to pass, that means the Most High may have mercy on him. And if the Most High have mercy on him, that means he is one of the elect. So he better hope that he's one of the elect. So now let me get back into this. It says, for after they have escaped the pollution of the world through the knowledge of the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, the Messiah, they are again entangled therein and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. Now I went to the commentary, and you know what precept they brought up? Matthew 12 and 45, where it speaks about the one demon coming back with 7 demons more mighty than themselves. And the matter of fact, I'll read it in a minute. Let me look up the word entangled. You might listen to your woman to buy this house, and you buy the house, you get caught up in it, the taxes go up, the credit rate goes up, because what's that term? You know, if you use credit, it's no set credit. The credit can go up and the taxes can go up, and then somebody can lose their job and have to settle for a job that doesn't pay as much as the job that you win. And so you might have to get 2 jobs, and therefore you're not able to do the work of the Most High. And then you become disenchanted, and then you leave. I want to deal with that word entangled. And the word, I'll let you listen to the word.
Strong's G 1707, impleco. Impleco.
Impleco. It says south will, entangled therein, entangled, to inweave of a thing, to entangle, involve in. You get with a woman and she tells you to do certain things. She's used to living a certain lifestyle. So you got to get a job. You got to bust your ass. You got to get 2 jobs. And you got to bust your ass to live that lifestyle because she wants to live it. And then all of a sudden, you're lacking in going out on the highways and the byways. You're no longer diligent. It says here, so this is the only precept other than this one, 2 Peter 2, verse 20, 2 Timothy 2, verse 4. No man that warreth. When you come into this is a spiritual war. No man that is into this spiritual war entangleth himself with the what? Affairs of this life or of the world, that he may please him, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, who have chosen him to be a soldier. Let me look up the word affairs. I may look up life. You know, you have a couple of children and your oldest boy, he gets locked up in the system. Whatever you're doing, you find out he gets locked up. You got to run over there to see what's going on. What did he do? And if you got to get bail and you running, you might not have the bail money, so you got to take out a loan and you got to borrow the money. That's being entangled, you know, with the affairs of this life. You might realize your woman is dealing with another man, and you ain't sleeping right, this, that, and the third. It says affairs. So let's look up the word affairs.
Strong's G 4230. Pragmatia. Pragmatia.
Yeah, it means workings, work. Persecution of any affair, business, occupation. That's what it means. Practical means that which works. And that can mean a lot of things that you into, man. And a lot of people, they to keep in order to keep their job, they had to take the whatever you want to call it, the jump shot in order to keep that job, because that was a good job. That was a good job. They might have been making 70,000 a year, and their wife might be a nurse making maybe 60,000. So they had to make a decision. If they don't take the jump shot, they're going to lose their jobs. And a lot of people in the military, a lot of people that were police, NYPD, they didn't take it. I ain't with that. I ain't with taking it, man. There were so many people in the military that didn't want to take it that they had to kind of let them go, because damn near it was a large percentage of individuals in the military that said, I ain't taking that shit. Entangled himself with the affairs, pragmatia of this life. Let's see what the word life means.
Strong's G 979. Bios. Bios.
It just means life, extensively, the period of or course of life, what you do every day. you know, your mother is sick in the hospital, you got to stop what you're doing. You got to go visit your mother. Your wife gets sick in the hospital, you got to stop what you're doing. Your son gets arrested, you know, your son gets arrested for attempted murder or murdering somebody, accused of murder, and the bail, you might have to put up your damn house, and your son escapes, or whatever the case may be. You're gonna lose sleep, man. It says that by which life is sustained, resources, wealth, goods. So it goes back to the buying and selling. So a lot of you are going to take it because you want to eat, you want to keep your house, you want to keep your car on the road, you don't want to be homeless. And a lot of y'all, your wives will leave you because you don't want to take it. Oh, enough. Why don't you grow up? Grow up, Henry. You're not an Israelite. You're not an Israelite. Grow up. You got them guys, you got Tahar putting that nonsense in your head, and you can't eat, nigga. Look, fuck that. I'm gonna take the kids down there and get this chip. And you're gonna melt like fucking butter in the summertime, and you're gonna wind up getting it. And all of a sudden, where this brother don't come around no more? Yeah, because he got the chip. He got the chip. So you're gonna take that chip, and then you're gonna get dipped. So let me read the rest of this and I'm gonna close. I went a little long. Okay, bear with me for a minute. Okay, let me come back over here. Like I said, if you go to the commentary, right? It says, bear with me for a minute. Okay, it says here the latter end is worse than with them than the beginning. Most certainly, this should be made to correspond with Matthew's 12:45, which says, "Then goes he or the demon and takes with himself 7 other spirits more wicked or more powerful than himself, and they enter in and dwell there," which is your body, which is the abode. Body comes from the word abode, which is house. You have an earthly house and a spiritual house in the heavens. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also to this wicked generation. So it says the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. And like I said, it's going to be a major shakeup when they make that breaking news. Okay, you got to get a chip now. You got to get this technology and put inside you. Put in the right hand, left hand, forehead. We're at the door of this major prophecy coming to pass. And when this major prophecy comes to pass, everything's gonna move quick. We probably be out of here inside of 3 months, because we're gonna be tested. Some of us are gonna get our head chopped off, pursuant to Revelation 20 verse 4. And the elder Manat Zakba, he did a video on it. We do the same subject over and over again to nauseum, ad nauseum, meaning till you're nauseated by it. But you can't get around that what the World Economic Forum said the other day, 2 days ago, that we're gonna establish a CBDC and everybody's gonna have to get it put in their bodies. There's gonna have to be a chip put in their bodies. It says most certainly this should be made to correspond with Matthew 12 verse 45, of which it is almost an exact reproduction, their last state is worse than the first. The only difference, and by the way, everybody came in, before you came in the truth, you had one demon on you. You had one demon on you. When you came in the truth, that demon got expelled off of you. When you get weak, there's 8 demons on you. And those 7 demons after the first one are fortified demons. Hey, if you notice, all these guys that fell off, they'll fall off for one thing. Oh, you guys broke down that. I don't agree with that. Y'all broke that down wrong. Or that grape thing, I'm not with that. Guess what? When they leave, they're that old bottle of wine, that old wine bottle. Remember what happened in Nazariah? It started with the tribe of Dan, or the tribe of Dan should be on the sign, whatever the case may be. That was back in 2014 at the Passover. That's what I heard at the Passover 2014. And what happened? Oh, y'all breaking down this wrong. Y'all breaking down that wrong. This don't mean this. That don't mean that. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Babylon is a Vatican City. Until what? Until you see them, you see those guys no more. They no longer deal with that YouTube page. So they're back in the world, ready to get Karagmat. It says the only difference is that the word for is in Matthew 12, verse 45, means literally becomes, and here has become. So let me read that. Let me read Matthew and put the word becomes. Then goes he and takes with him 7 other spirits or demons more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man, now the word there is become. Is the word is become. He has become a demon, a worse demon than before he came in. You know, before you came in this truth, you could have been a moat. You could have been laying with other men, and you cleaned yourself, and you came into this truth. Paul spoke about that to the church of Corinth, because they were doing that shit. That's why he mentioned it. So now when you go out there, you might go out there laying with animals, man. Laying with men, laying with animals. This is the wrong person to mess with. Is the Most High, the king of terrors, man. The Alashadja, the demon-like power. All you guys that fell off, and y'all watch us, you might as well just get your house in order. I ain't gonna say nothing else. Because if you stick around on this plane of humanity, this plane that we call Earth, you're gonna get caught up. You are gonna get caught up. And you're definitely gonna take that Karagma. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the old Proverbs, the dog returns back to his vomit. You go back to your own ways. This is why, you got the IUIC, they'll go places and they'll jam it down people's throat. You don't jam this truth down nobody's throat. You don't jam this down nobody's throat. You went to the church, you had the church blitz, you went to all these different churches, and you didn't get not one person that leave that church because you wasn't supposed to teach them any goddamn way. And if you went out there, you don't stay out there for 2 hours arguing back and forth. You tell them that they're Israelites, you show them a scripture, they can't see it. If they say we ain't with this, then you say, boom, we out of here. Y'all doing your own will. Let me go here real quick and I'm gonna get ready to close. I don't want to make this long, but it's a little long, but For it's better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. Oh, I'll read this. Do not hold good to have loved a great truth, which is this is the truth, to have loved a high principle, this is the high principle, and after all, to lose them is what often causes the shipwreck of a life. To have loved Yahweh Shai HaMashiach and lost him is to make shipwreck of eternal life. Because you're gonna be cast to the elements. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.